Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Ariana Lake. Hot and dry conditions are feeding the Sprague fire burning on the east side of Lake McDonald. Today, officials report the fire has grown to 2,100 acres. Fire managers say that an overnight infrared flight showed that the blaze has added over 500 acres over the last few days, primarily on the southwest side. Firefighters continue to reduce fuels around structures, and they're working to minimize fire spread and intensity near the Sperry Chalet. Most of the park is unaffected by this fire, but there are some trail closures because of it. We have those listed on our website. And it's all that smoke from the Sprague fire that's prompting one of Glacier National Park's iconic lodges to close its doors early this season. As MTN's Nicole Miller found out, Lake McDonald Lodge is closing for the season almost a month early, which is a first in the lodge's history.
Everyone's pretty heartbroken about the fact that we had to close due to the air quality. You know, many people save up for a long time to bring their families to Glacier and kind of have that epic holiday experience.
Unfortunately, their plans have been altered. Wildfire smoke from nearby fires has closed Lake McDonald Lodge for the season.
The park is actually getting smoke from a couple different sources. Here at Lake McDonald Lodge, the closure that Xanterra decided to put in place is really because of the localized smoke coming from up the hill just a couple miles away at the Sprague fire.
An air quality monitoring station was just installed at the lodge. Initial readings indicate that air quality levels are fluctuating between good and hazardous.
We've been monitoring the air quality every hour. Unfortunately, now that we've had the opportunity to review the data, it's showing that about 12 hours out of every 24-hour period, the air quality is at very unhealthy or above.
The hazardous air quality is a big concern for the safety of employees who live on site and have a longer duration of exposure to the air conditions.
There's a tendency in the evening when the temperatures cool down, that smoke sinks down into the valley, and then it tends to sit here on the lodge at night and into the next morning.
Employee Samuel Hicks, who manages food and beverage, says it's been most difficult on the foreign employees, but remaining safe and healthy is most important.
A lot of confusion with our J1 and exchange students. You know, they're not too sure what they're going to do, but sad, happy. Everybody's going to miss each other. Nobody wants to really leave all their friends they've made here all summer because this place is home. And I know a majority of our employees really want to come back next year already.
Reporting in Glacier National Park, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
The lodge was completely booked through September. Officials tell us some of the employees will be able to transfer to jobs in other parts of East Glacier and even to Yellowstone National Park. And it sounds like things are only going to get worse before they get better, with critical fire danger a major concern through the end of the week. Here's Chief Meteorologist Erin Yost with more on what she's tracking. Erin.
Exactly, Ariana. It's kind of like a 1-2 punch with this cold front that's approaching the region. Today, out ahead of it, we're looking at some stormy conditions. Unfortunately, dry thunderstorms where the biggest impacts will be gusting erratic winds and some lightning. Behind the front tomorrow, things will be better, drier, but pretty windy. So we've got high fire danger here over the next couple of days. Right now, just a couple of isolated showers and storms trying to develop closer to home, but there will be a little bit more activity further to the south of us as expected. Red flag warnings, though, out through 9 o'clock tomorrow. This includes all of western Montana, not just us. I've got a forecast update coming up shortly.
Thanks, Erin. Following up on our fire coverage, a new team is set to take over managing the Gibraltar Ridge fire burning near Eureka. The Pearson's North Idaho Type 2 team will be leading efforts starting tomorrow on the more than 5,900-acre fire. Containment is listed at 28% tonight. Crews have their eyes on instability in the weather expected over the next few days, which could fuel this fire. And crews continue to battle a lightning-sparked fire that broke out in Sanders County yesterday afternoon. The Sheep Gap fire was first spotted at around 5 yesterday night west of Plains. It's located 9 miles outside of Plains, just south of Highway 200. There's no immediate word on how many acres have burned. Of course, we'll have more information as it becomes available. In national news, the sun finally came out in Houston today, but Harvey is still not through battering Texas. The storm made a second landfall near the Texas-Louisiana border, dumping rain, triggering more emergency rescues. Kenneth Craig reports from Houston.
Heroic rescues are now underway in southeast Texas after Harvey dumped more than a foot of rain in a span of hours. Rescuers threw a lifeline to a man clinging to a tree limb in rushing water. In Liberty, this woman escaped her mobile home through waist-deep water.
Now it's just what to do next.
Rescuers brought this truckload of senior citizens to a shelter in Orange. In Houston, people are finally seeing a glimmer of hope following 6 days of historic rainfall and catastrophic flooding.
The water levels are going down.
But as the water recedes, the death toll is rising. Police found the bodies of 2 grandparents and their 4 grandchildren inside a van that disappeared in floodwaters.
Our worst fears have been realized.
And the rescue efforts continue.
There are still people who are in their homes. They've been trapped on the 2nd floor.
Volunteers like Greg Gashasan and Riley Fielder from Louisiana are helping.
We don't know where they're at. If they're still in their attics and they can't get out.
In you go, sweetheart.
Today they rescued 2 families and found flood victims still refusing to leave. At least 17,000 people are crowded into 230 shelters here in Houston, and now officials are trying to determine how long they will have to stay. About 40,000 homes have water damage.
When water sits in a house for several weeks, the house begins to degrade.
So far, FEMA has received 195,000 requests for help. Officials predict it will take years for Houston to recover from Harvey. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Houston.
Authorities believe Harvey will be the most expensive natural disaster in U.S. history. In your court news tonight, a trial is set for October for a man accused of killing someone this summer in East Glacier. William Alberto Arocha Jr. pled not guilty to second-degree murder yesterday in federal court. He's accused of killing Shane LaPlante on July 5th in East Glacier. Witnesses tell us LaPlante was stabbed during a wedding party near the Bear Track store. Prosecuting attorney in the case says right now, most of the case's details are sealed to protect the integrity of the judicial process. Arocha Jr. could face life in prison and a $250,000 fine. He's currently released on zero-tolerance conditions and will appear before a judge for a jury trial October 30th. 4 teenagers accused of starting the fire that destroyed over a dozen homes near Hamilton last summer will not face jail time. Cody Knez, Stephen Banks, and Tyler Johnson were each charged with felony and misdemeanor negligent arson charges. Charges against a 4th person who is a minor were dismissed. Prosecutors say the group left a campfire unattended, leading to the devastating 8,500-acre Roaring Lion fire that destroyed 16 homes last summer, cost over $9 million to fight. The 3 accepted a plea deal with prosecutors, agreeing to a 5-year deferred sentence. The 3 will each serve 100 hours of volunteer work with the National Forest Service. They will also be required to pay 10% of their annual salaries in restitution for the duration of the sentence. If they follow all conditions, the charges will be dropped. In front of a crowd of staff and faculty, University of Montana's president urged attendees to act as ambassadors to promote the university. And as MTN's Don Fisher reports, there are some positive signs for student enrollment for the first time in years.
University of Montana Interim President Sheila Stearns addressed faculty and staff Wednesday morning just before the start of the new fall semester and addressed many topics, which included award-winning efforts by the staff and the ever-looming question of enrollment. But Stearns says despite a projected drop, another budget shortfall is not expected.
The fact that we had a big class graduate means that enrollment overall will be down by a few percent. That was also predicted as soon as you looked at numbers last January. So that is exactly what we have done so that we could budget conservatively and work aggressively to grow those numbers through retention and recruitment.
But there is one very positive sign for UM's future. President Stearns says this is the largest incoming freshman class the university has seen in years and credits that to an increased emphasis on recruitment.
It's not a big spike increase, but it looks like we will be about even. And I said clear last January when I first started that that was a huge goal.
As for the search for a new full-time president, Stearns says the selection process is going very well, as they hope to come to a decision later this year.
I think that we will have finalists to interview later this month, which will be exciting. So that is a rough timetable, and I think it's very reasonable and achievable.
In Missoula, Don Fisher, MTN News.
And due to all the smoke, the University of Montana has moved its academic convocation from outside to inside the Denison Theater. UM faculty, staff, and the UM Marching Band will greet students beginning at 8 p.m. The program starts at 8:30. Coming up on KAJ, Aaron previews your Labor Day weekend forecast, plus Montana Highway Patrol is dedicating more resources to keeping the roads safe during this busy weekend. And we continue our series that examines sweeping changes to the state's correctional system. Former inmates weigh in on it. That's next on KAJ.